Myalgic encephalomyelitis, also known as chronic fatigue syndrome, is a known outcome of COVID-19. Yet you won't have heard about it in the media, from government, from the Department of Health and Social Care, or NHS England. And that's what this video is about today. I'm going to tell you what myalgic encephalomyelitis actually is. So there is no diagnostic test for myalgic encephalomyelitis. We're diagnosed from a diagnostic criteria. There are a number of diagnostic criteria. The one that ME Foggy Dog uses is the ME International Consensus Criteria, and that's what you can see on the screen now. A patient will meet the criteria for ME if they have 1. Post-exertional neuroimmune exhaustion. That's compulsory. If you don't have that, is also known as post-exertional malaise. That's what I prefer to call it. So if you don't have post-exertional malaise or PEM, you do not have ME. 2, at least one neurological impairment symptom from 3 categories. Those categories are neurocognitive impairments, pain, sleep disturbance, and neurosensory perception and motor disturbances. 3, at least one immune gastrointestinal genitourinary impairment from 3 categories. Flu-like symptoms that may be recurrent or chronic and typically activate or worsen with exertion. That links to the post-exertional malaise. Susceptibility to viral infections with prolonged recovery periods. Gastrointestinal tract, genitourinary, sensitivity to food, medications, odour or chemicals. And at least one energy metabolism ion transport impairment symptom, cardiovascular, respiratory, loss of thermostatic stability or intolerance of extremes of temperature. Okay, and as I've put at the bottom of this page on our website, for a diagnosis of ME, symptom severity must result in a significant reduction of a patient's pre-illness activity level. That means for mild, that's 50% reduction in pre-illness activity level. Moderate is mostly housebound. Severe is mostly bedridden, and very severe is totally bedridden and need help with basic function. Now, to read all of that specific diagnostic criteria in full, the link is on the website in the link that I showed when I clicked through. You can read all of it for yourself. The problem we've got with ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis, is that it's been linked to another name, which is chronic fatigue syndrome. And that's why many people think it's simply fatigue. And as you can see from that diagnostic criteria, it is a heck of a lot more than simply fatigue. In fact, in the past 3 weeks, 2 members of our community with very severe ME have died. You can die from ME. ME kills, and yet there is this constant downplaying of our disease. And as I said at the start, it has yet to be confirmed by anyone in UK government or the media that COVID-19 is triggering myalgic encephalomyelitis in a large number of people. In fact, of long COVID, half meet ME C.F.S diagnostic criteria. So it's a known outcome of COVID-19. That means we are not being included in policy decisions or research decisions. Data matters. So please know that if you catch COVID-19, 30% of COVID survivors, so in other words, anyone that gets COVID-19 of any mildness, 30% go on to get chronically sick. Of those, half meet diagnostic criteria for ME. It's a big risk, especially when case numbers are as high as they are at the moment. So please bear that in mind and help me to spread the word that at least 10% of COVID survivors are now getting an ME C.F.S diagnosis. That's important. That's an awful lot of people. And I would estimate that around 1 million people currently in the UK meet ME criteria. And yet they're being excluded from the COVID-19 and long COVID narrative. That needs to change. Thank you for listening.